Alright, how a retirement determines a legacy. I love this guy! Outdoor Boys is so wholesome to me. Dude, I watched all of his content when it came out, bro. He didn't truly retire, though. If I remember correctly, his son is going to just keep the legacy going, but in his own way.
YouTubers spend years building fame and loyalty, but how they retire from YouTube can make or break their legacy. Some go out with the respect of the entire community, while other retirements are treated as long
Tate didn't ever quit, though. That was just all a stunt, wasn't it?
overdue exits. Here's how a retirement determines a legacy. Starting with JSchlatt, who started out on YouTube posting random videos, but slowly pivoted to reactions and comedy sketches.
About a year ago, Elon Musk was sitting in traffic in Los Angeles and thought about how cool it would be if he built a tunnel under the city. So he built a tunnel under the city, and then he started selling hats for his tunnel. 50,000 hats later, he got bored with hats and switched the hats out for flamethrowers.
However, it wasn't until March 2019 that Schlatt's career changed forever after he joined the Dream SMP, the most popular Minecraft server at the time.
Dude.
My first decree as the president.
When was this, chat? This was years ago.
Of this great country is to
Oh my
revoke
gosh.
the censorship of Wilbur Soot and Tommy Innit. BS. I'm out of here.
Oh my god!
You're welcome.
Get him out of here.
His ruthless dictator persona on SMP Live became a fan favorite. Dude, he has the most perfect evil villain voice. I love it. And despite the community's love, Schlatt was always weary of being overworked.
I have not enjoyed making videos on YouTube for a while. And I guess you guys might have been able to pick up on that.
While also mentioning that he'd been thinking about quitting.
I have thought about throwing in the towel and retiring and quitting and what that would look like.
He therefore took a break from streaming after the SMP Live ended, a decision that his fans respected. Hang tight, Schlatt. Discovering your channel might have been literally the best thing that ever happened to me during a
JSchlatt now basically owns Gamer Subs too. He just branched out into other things.
few tough times in the past.
Yeah,
You'll find your happy place. After returning, Schlatt diversified his content even further by streaming on Twitch and announcing his podcast, Sleep Deprived. By 2022, Schlatt was a household name on YouTube, but fans knew it was only a matter of time until they saw the one video they were dreading.
Time and time again, optimizing every second of my existence for revenue generation. I have so much of it now. Enough to never have to post here again. And so I won't post here again. I quit.
While the video uploaded on his main channel was comedic, he posted a more introspective video on his second channel, The Weekly Slap, talking about the nightmarish experience that made him want to quit.
I was headed to the supermarket, getting some Big League Chew, you know, the whole shebang. The thing jumped out onto the road, and there was literally no time to react. And every time I bring it up in videos, I've mentioned it quite a few times at this point, I try and make light of this situation and kind of, you know, make jokes, but man, that sucked.
Following the accident, Schlatt realized something important about his life.
I came home and I realized I was still more stressed out about how poorly my recent video was doing.
Yeah.
And it was in that moment I was just like,
you just unironically have to not look at it. That's the only way you can deal with it. I know this is gonna sound like a first world problem, and it totally is, but like if you focus on the numbers, your mental will actually go down the shitter. Every single little VTuber that I've ever talked to that's like, oh my god, Alana, like, I really care about my viewers, and like, if my viewers dip, then my mental goes down the shitter. It's like, you just have to teach yourself not to look. You have to stop caring.
Wow.
Because it ruins your mental.
I do not take care of myself. I have everything I ever could have wanted in life, and I still worry the most about titles and thumbnails.
This reflection was described by fans as being the most honest goodbye I have ever seen from a content creator, highlighting the thoughtful persona behind Schlatt's sarcastic self-portrayal online.
And it became pretty clear to me that I needed a new set of goals. Not just in work, but in life, man. I mean, I think it just kind of reached the point where I don't need to focus on more anymore. I need to focus on what fucking matters.
This is exactly why there was no toxicity from his fans, only appreciation. The same, however, can't be said about Jake Paul, who only retired after transitioning from being a punching bag for the internet to one in the ring. The shift came after his chaotic Team 10 era, where he had built a reputation as the problem child. Eager to cause problems in the ring for a change, Jake Paul made his debut against KSI's brother Deji in 2018 with a 5th-round TKO. Having caused a stir in the world of boxing, Jake Paul rode the high of his villain arc, leaning into the role of the boxer that the world wanted to see get knocked out. But if
he's just rage baiting for money and clout.
You want to avoid getting knocked out by the future, you need to shore up your defenses against something way scarier than Jake's right hook. There's a real risk that your career is the one that ends up on the canvas. That's why we've partnered with Outskill, the first ever AI-focused educational platform built to fast-track AI learning for people like you and me. They're hosting a 2-day AI mastermind training live this Saturday and Sunday, 10 a.m. to 7 p.m. Eastern on both days, and right now is the perfect time to jump in, because as part of their New Year Upskilling Fest, you can get in absolutely free. This is 16 hours of live AI training that's already helped over 10 million AI-first professionals worldwide and is rated 4.9 out of 5 on Trustpilot. Some of these trainees have even launched.
I need this so that I can train when I die, or if I die, I can just have SmugAlana be the next AI, like, you know, so that even if I pass away, you guys can still get content.
AI-powered services that bring up to $3,000 per week simply by applying the systems they learn. Now, this kind of dough doesn't come from thin air, since you'll need resources like the AI Prompt Bible, the AI Profit Roadmap, and your personalized AI Toolkit Builder, all of which you can access for a lifetime simply by attending both days of the workshop. And just like how Jake needs to defend himself against jabs, you'll need to survive the onslaught of changes in 2026, which is where the AI Survival Hackbook will come up clutch for you. Seats are limited though, with only the first 1,000 people getting a 100% discount. So if you want to grab a free spot at the 2-day AI Mastermind, use the link in the description or the pinned comment to sign up. This is how you'll be ready to win in 2026 and avoid receiving the same treatment as Jake Paul did from his critics. Initially, Jake was taunted for only taking fights with influencers who fans claimed weren't a challenge. So, Jake started getting retired pro fighters to join in.
Yeah, but they're retired. Like, again, the whole Mike Tyson thing, if Mike Tyson was in his prime, he would have absolutely thrashed and mopped the floor with Logan Paul. It's just because the name is associated with it. It's unfair.
His first major fight came against ex-UFC star Ben Askren, whom Jake knocked out with ease. This only angered fans and started a series of allegations against Jake of scripting his fights. Even if Ben isn't a boxer, look at his punches, if you can call them that. Pretty easy to see he wasn't trying at all here. Jake was selling pay-per-views quick.
I bet you he was pulling punches with Mike. I know. Probably because he doesn't want to kill him. He's an old man.
Quicker than his opponents were going down, though, so he kept using the same formula, knocking out former UFC champ Tyron Woodley and beating other legends like Nate Diaz and Anderson Silva. Despite these
other way around, I disagree. I'm sorry. I'm not trying to disrespect Mike Tyson. I'm really not. The guy's pushing to 60. He's not gonna punch as hard as someone who's in their literal physical prime. He was, how old is he? Friggin' one Paul brothers. I just typed Jake Paul. Yeah, like he's in his physical prime. Like men are in their physical prime between 25 to 30. Like, I'm sorry, I'm not trying to be mean, and I'm not trying to be like, oh no. I'm just saying, like, if it was prime to prime, he would mop the floor with him.
Accomplishments, a huge cloud hung over Jake's career. I thought it was always pretty clear that he was good for a YouTuber who joined the sport late, but if he didn't bring his own audience with him, there was no way he would be so prominent, which prompted him to face an actual boxer who wasn't 20 years his senior in Tommy Fury.
This guy is delusional, and being delusional will get you killed. 24. You ain't a boxer, mate. You're not a fighter. If me and you was on the car park, no cameras, he'd offer the handshake, and I'd get straight into you. That's the difference.
And the fight went as many expected it to.
For the winner by split decision,
Tommy!
This setback didn't faze Jake, though, as he proceeded to rage bait boxing fans all over the world by setting up the ultimate fight. Everyone wanted to see Mike Tyson knock Jake out, but with the age gap and Tyson being much slower than he was in his prime, the result was a foregone conclusion.
Declaring your winner by unanimous decision, Jake Paul!
And fans had never been angrier. It's almost like they agreed to a friendly boxing match to make tons of money. Regardless,
yeah, wow, I'm surprised you're catching on.
having made a career out of rage baiting, Jake was making hundreds of millions. He could have milked the same formula for a while, but when his bout with the much smaller Gervonta Davis was canceled, Jake made the decision to step into the ring with an absolute monster. The former world heavyweight champion and Olympic gold medalist Anthony Joshua was nothing like any of Jake's former opponents, with many fans hoping that this would finally be the fight where Jake would fall.
And his shin served on the...
Oh, and then look at the Look at the pants! Look at the pants, chat! He's got a Polymarket ad!
Fall.
And his chin served on the platter for that right hand right there. And look at Jake Paul's face. He knew it right away. He said, woo!
Following a devastating finish, Jake posted pictures of his broken jaw, highlighting the
wow, ouch.
damage he had
that
taken.
Must have hurt like hell.
But will you take care of me forever and ever?
Fans, however, took the opportunity.
Well, okay, that's kind of funny. I don't usually say this, but that's actually kind of funny.
But will you take care of me forever and ever?
Fans, however, took the opportunity.
What is that dub? I think it's from Family Guy or some other, some other ridiculous cartoon.
Opportunity to finally.
Or is it Ted? Oh, it was Ted. Yeah, it wasn't Family Guy.
Tell Jake what they'd wanted to for ages.
Jake Paul just found out what real boxing is.
After making a heavy bag, Jake announced that he'd be taking a break before thinking about returning to the ring.
Are you gonna keep boxing?
Yeah.
You really love this, huh?
He probably genuinely does think the sport is fun. Like, I just think the money is like a big bonus on top, obviously.
Yeah. I'm going to take some time off to go support Utah at the Olympics. I have such baby fever.
Oh.
Yeah.
Like, I want kids so
babies.
bad.
Yeah, you're gonna be a great dad.
Many fans do think this was Jake's final boxing fight, with some giving him props for even taking the fight in the first place. I can't lie, Jake Paul is low-key a badass MF for doing this fight. Others, however, believe Jake's retirement from boxing is a net positive for the sport, confirming that Jake's reputation will remain tarnished, unlike the legacy left behind by Luke Nichols from the Outdoor Boys, who upset fans after announcing his retirement. This love from the community was set in motion in 2015 when Luke began uploading videos exploring the outdoors and teaching his audience how to survive in the wild.
These are the most useful knots that everyone should know that you can use in everyday life.
The channel grew slowly at first before a huge spike in viewership during
It was COVID. I remember whoever managed his channel or gave him advice, after he blew up, he did a ton of TikToks too, and that really set him up for success. People loved that.
COVID helped Luke blow up online. His subscriber count skyrocketed to 15 million by 2025. But for Luke,
he 100% deserved it. It was just a catalyst for all the hard work that he put in.
Growing his channel to even bigger heights was never the plan.
It's time to start focusing on other things. And that's what I'm going to be doing. But I've spent so much time focusing on me and my family and growing my business. It's time to step back and focus on helping other people for a change.
This decision to quit YouTube for the better came in May 2025 when Luke uploaded his goodbye video. The internet's response was nothing short of bittersweet, with some calling him a hero that was so great he never became a villain, while others were devastated over the news. The first YouTube goodbye that has hit me honestly. Dude seemed so wholesome. And
I think it's not that bad because ultimately his kids are going to carry on his legacy, and he always, if you actually watch his videos and you're not just a tourist that like watches little clips here and there, he really does love his kids a lot and his wife. And he one of his last videos, maybe like in the last 5 videos, he actually took out his kid for the first time, and the kid had to he had to live out in the woods by himself for a whole day. Granted, he had communication and they had a little walkie-talkie, like in case anything bad happens, but he got to be alone for the first time, and he's like, what, like 12, 13 years old out in the freaking Alaskan woods?
His content was top tier for chilled evenings in. Gonna miss him. However, in his final video, Luke mentioned that his new goal would be to help people in any way he can. So when Steven from My Life Outdoors was struggling, Luke reached out with a helping hand.
Some of you guys may have heard that Steven's wife was recently diagnosed with cancer. So right now, Steven's got a lot on his plate, taking care of his wife and his 4 kids. So I thought I might step in and do a little YouTube video for him so he can worry about one thing at a time.
The gesture was appreciated by millions. What a freaking legend. Came out of retirement to...
And then people still hated him for it too, by the way. I remember when this video came out, people on Twitter were like, so actually he didn't retire and he just cared about money. Holy fuck.
Support a friend in need. This generous act was especially impressive given the nature of their relationship.
I'm like, well, you know, like I do consider Luke my friend now. You know, but prior to this, like, we'd never met each other. We'd never talked. Saw something, like you said, knew the pressures behind a channel like this and wanted to help.
I'm a big advocate of you help people because they need help, not because you think they deserve help.
Luke, therefore, cemented his legacy as not just a great content creator, but also as one of the greatest people. A sharp contrast to Andrew Tate, who lived up to his label of being one of the most controversial creators. Having made a name for himself through kickboxing and money from running a cam girls website, Andrew Tate rose to fame in the public eye during COVID when his TikToks started going viral.
Oh yeah, lots of people sitting at home, no father figures, like nothing going for him really. Yep.
Viral.
Pouncing on the opportunity.
My 4 wives are sitting there.
My 4 wives?
They've seen on the news.
Dude, that is so crazy to me.
This is new deadly contagion. Andrew, you need to wear new deadly contagion.
Oh my god, I've seen this so many times, dude.
I am the commander of this house. I decide.
Dude, the LARPing is insane, man.
If there's a contagion.
His red pill content was aimed at getting young men on his side as he marketed himself as the savior of the generation. I am the last superhero of masculinity.
Saving the generation, one $10,000, what is it called? The course at a time.
As every other man has glaring obvious failings. Only I am absolutely complete and perfect in every possible way. Coupled with the high-profile appearances with streamers, Tate became somewhat of a superhero for many struggling men.
I'll never forget it. He's super tall, bro, and like it's super intimidating when he has so many bodyguards around him, and he came in. I was so nervous, but when he stuck his hand out and smiled, I felt safe.
Not everyone was glazing Andrew, though. Tate is an obvious grifter, but so many of his fans have been duped into thinking he has some esoteric knowledge that will revolutionize their lives. A reference to his
knowledge of making money, probably.
Projects, including Hustlers University, which set out to prepare young men with skills for the real world.
And so in these chat rooms where your instructors have a fraction of the charisma of Tate, you're supposed to commit yourself to these skill sets, which are super surface level because, of course, this all appeals to the lowest common denominator men who think answers can come from TikTok videos.
This revelation confirmed what thousands on the internet already suspected. It's like buying a book called How to Scam People 6 months ago and wondering why it still hasn't arrived yet. But with his ongoing legal trouble, Tate saw his Twitter and Instagram accounts terminated, which many felt should have been the end. Unfortunately, it wasn't, and with each attempt at cancellation, Tate would resurface with a new grift.
Oh my god, holy shit. I didn't know that he became a Muslim.
But while Tate could always hide behind his masculine persona, that identity would face its biggest test in December 2025 when he had a boxing match with Chase Demure, who, according to some, was the worst fighter they'd ever seen. The fight was set up for Tate to claim an easy win, but against all odds, he managed to lose in the most humiliating way possible.
A shot like that, absolutely not. It's too easy to see, and Andrew Tate's simply fatigued, and he wasn't able to get out of the way of it. Too much weight. Beautiful shot by Chase.
And the way Tate coped with the loss was interesting.
Is the world a better place now that I've lost? Maybe the win means more to Chase than it would have mean to me.
maybe Chase couldn't handle the loss.
Leading to fans saying dude went from top G to bottom G in 8.
Well, when you when you try to carry yourself as a top alpha dog, God, I'm speaking way too fast and I'm thinking, when you frame yourself in that way, your own audience becomes like basically your own shark-infested waters. So that him being humble, that they couldn't handle that. They lost their shit. They're like, oh man, this guy's a freaking F-slur. Oh, he's such a loser. Oh, I can't believe this happened. And then they get disillusioned and they get mad.
8 minutes. While he continues to stream on Rumble,
ultimately.
It's safe to assume that he has well and truly retired from the
Who
world.
cares if he loses? Because it's all riding on ego, and that's how he carries himself. Again, if you're a humble, like, I don't know, like a humble sportsman in general, like people generally aren't going to care if you lose. It's the fact that he's putting himself on a pedestal, like, oh, I'm unbeatable, I'm amazing, blah, 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 blah. It's like, that's what happens.
World of fighting with a stain on his legacy. On the contrary, Derek Muller of Veritasium cemented his legacy as a legend who loved what he did. Created in 2011, Veritasium was Derek's attempt at addressing counterintuitive concepts in science.
The real reason I made Veritasium is because it allowed me to combine the 3 things that I always loved doing the most: learning about science, teaching, and creating.
His videos explored interesting topics that made science accessible to millions of people. You have no idea how many physics students and students of other science and math disciplines too that your work has inspired. Sincerely, thank you so much for investing so much of your time, energy, and effort to create such great...
Are you saying I'm gonna retire? I'm not planning to fucking stop streaming for a long time. Unless something, I don't know, health related happens, I guess. Like, I don't know. Something would have to happen.
Content that educates
I'm not
and
really in it to
inspires.
quit.
However, all good things must come to an end, and that end came in December 2025 when Derek uploaded a video talking about his future with the channel.
So you might think that I could delegate tasks to them and work fewer hours. But what actually happened was the opposite.
I was working more than ever before because I had to prepare things for them to do and I had to train them up.
These challenges led to an important decision that Derek had to make in 2022.
So the timing was kind of perfect when in 2022, Owen and Ian approached me about investing in Veritasium. So the deal they offered me was this. They would buy some of the business, but I would remain an owner. They would take care of things like hiring, production, logistics, corporate compliance, taxes, all that sort of stuff.
Very nice.
And they would reduce my working hours. So it was kind of the perfect offer at the perfect time.
While some fans were concerned this would mark the end of the channel as they knew it, Derek reassured them.
Fortunately, you don't...
I do think that there's obviously room for skepticism because there's been so many instances of, like, I think it was Rooster Teeth, and I know it's not a one-to-one because this is a science channel versus like a comedy channel. I think there's loads of YouTube channels that got bought out and then they basically turned to shit.
I have to wonder what Electrify will do because...
I mean, Machinima was always trash in my opinion. No offense to anybody that really liked them, but like if you actually looked behind the scenes, Machinima was actually really, really ratty and dog shit. Yeah, Video Game Donkey also exposed them, funnily enough. We just watched a video by him. I remember he said that he got scammed. They, like, didn't pay him, stuff like that. It sucked. But I was more so citing Rooster Teeth because people really liked Rooster Teeth and then eventually just fell apart.
We've already been working together for nearly 3 years.
Corporatized.
So I can show you what we have done. We have produced some of the most successful videos in the channel's history. And I'm not a growth hacker. We don't sell cheap merch, no t-shirts or hoodies. I want you to get more value out of me than I get out of you.
A move that was respected by fans all around. We're not your viewers. We're not your fans. We're your students. Thank you for being an incredible teacher. And just like Luke Nichols, Derek chose something much bigger over his career.
So, am I retiring? Well, at some point I will, but it's not exactly clear when that will be. In some upcoming videos, I will not appear at all, even if I'm guiding things in the background. And this is to give me more time to spend with my family.
Cementing Derek's legacy as
I also think that
going up against...
Oh, for fuck's sake. Sorry. I accidentally clicked it.
YouTubers.
What I was trying to say is, it also lets other people who could potentially take over, like, and fill the niche that are far younger than him, and he can focus on his freaking family. Because I remember hearing secondhand from a friend that watched Veritasium that he wanted to, like, focus on his family and put more time into them and let someone else take the forefront of, like, being the guy, the science guy.
I will, but it's not exactly clear when that will be. You know, in some upcoming videos, I will not appear at all, even if I'm guiding things in the background. And this is to give me more time to spend with my family.
Cementing Derek's legacy as one of the most respected creators on the platform.
I think people who milk their their legacy forever and ever and never retire, I think they usually burn out or they just quit without saying a word. Because they don't want to disappoint people. I think it's better when you say goodbye properly. Or at least, like, semi-retire or something like that. Be like, guys, I need to slow down. It's better for me. Because ultimately, the customers, which is the viewers, they want endless content. Endless content. Yeah, go check them out. Very nice.